the greatest religion in the world today is materialism. I'm the body, I'm the controller. The goal in life is to do whatever you want to satisfy your material desires.
Though our outer body is decaying, yet our inner body is being renewed day by day.
As long as I identify with the body, my goal-oriented nature will be directed for material goals. Flesh and blood, the material body, cannot inherit the spiritual world. See? But the one who is self-realized actually sees the person inside the body.
Most people would think, and the common understanding is that religion is just like a source of conflict in the world, and it's not a positive thing, and it just creates this team spirit, us against them. And if you look at the world and if you see the different conflicts, a lot of them are at least like a rooted or a lot to do with religion and this faith versus that faith. And
I remember one time I was in the airport.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in Toronto. And we were waiting to board the plane. And there was a guy from the Middle East. And I don't remember exactly how, but somehow we started talking. And he expressed the idea, which you just said, is that religion is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because all it does is bring about wars and conflicts and et cetera, et cetera. And he was coming from a place where all this volatile religious sentiment openly expressed, whether it's in the Muslim community with the Sunnis against the Shiites, or whether it's the Muslims against the Jews, or whatever. But in that area of the world, there's a lot of open conflict that results from this idea. And so I said, no, that is not true. This is the product of pseudo-religion. It's not the product of religion. True religion is harmonizing. It's not creating conflict. And so what we see is the conflicts come from sectarian viewpoints and identifying with a particular sect or group or ideology or teaching that is different in some way, culturally or philosophically or whatever, from another group of people who identify with another group of people. And so they see the difference instead of the similarity, and then out of difference comes conflict. Mm-hmm. They don't see the harmony, they see the discord. We're right and you're wrong. And the other group is saying, well, we're right and you're wrong. Or we're these people and you're those people. Or we're this religion and you're that religion. And as soon as you see that, then there's going to be friction.
Yeah. But it seems like in some sense, someone may argue that, well, you're also saying that, by having this podcast, you're saying that, we have the truth and these other people are not. Like, what's the difference, and what makes it so that you are able to distinguish between right and wrong, but not that it creates conflict?
Where there's real truth, there's harmony, and where there's pseudo-truth or partial truth or whatever, there'll be conflict. That's one way. So all the great spiritual teachers, Lord Jesus Christ and others, had not taught anything that would produce conflict. They taught what will bring about true harmony. Yeah. Because what their basic tenet is love and true love. And there's no conflict in love. If there's some disagreement in any relationship, if there's that more true the love is, or deeper the love is, or pure the love is, the less the conflict. And so this is the only thing that brings about harmony in the world.
But why? Is love. Sorry.
Yeah, is love. That's the only harmonizing fact.
But I'm just like, why isn't that seen in society then? Like, if religion is about love and should enable one to come closer to that love that you're speaking about, why don't we see that in society? Like, religion traditionally has been used. I don't know if you agree or not, but it seems like religion has been used as a way to control people, to tell them, if you don't do this, you're going to go to hell, and behave and do this, and then you'll be good. And
yes, it's a not political. It's a way, as you say, to control people, and that's not real religion. Because let's basically define what real religion is. There's only one religion. There's not innumerable religions. There's only one religion, and that's love for God. If you take religion in its true meaning of dharma, this is the Sanskrit word which denotes religion, if you will, in its true understanding. Religion means occupational duty. Dharma means occupational duty. And it means the occupational duty of the soul, not the culture, not the body, not the time period, any of this stuff. It means the eternal occupational duty of the soul. And we are eternally spirit souls. That never changes. So what is the occupational duty of the soul for every single living entity? And that is to love and serve the Supreme Soul. It's called Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan means eternal. Dharma means occupational duty. So the eternal occupational duty of the soul is to lovingly serve the Supreme Soul, to please the Supreme Soul with your life, with your activities. And that's real religion. So there's only one religion, and that's love for God. And there's only one religious activity, loving service to God. So that's eternally the truth. So in that way, that just shines the light on the lack of true religion amongst all these sectarian groups and viewpoints and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
See, the true religion is different from the pseudo-religion in that you can't change your true religion. It's the same. You can't change it because you are who you are, eternal child of God. And you will eternally be obligated by your position, not obligated by force, but this is your position, to please God, to serve God, to do the will of God for every individual living entity. But when you break it up and put a material concept on it and have all these different religions, you can change those. See? If I'm a Christian today, I can tomorrow decide I'm going to be a Muslim. And the Muslim can decide to be a Hindu, and the Hindu can decide to be a Christian. And the Christian can decide to be a Buddhist, and et cetera, et cetera. I used to be a Christian, now I'm a Hindu. Or I was raised a Christian, but now I'm a Buddhist. See? In other words, it's a material designation, which means I can change it.
Yeah.
But that's an external material designation based on my viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond all that, I'm still the eternal loving servant of God. The atheist also is the eternal loving servant of God. He has a completely different religion. The greatest religion in the world today is materialism. In other words, if you take religion as a belief system, the greatest religion in the world today is materialism. I'm the body, I'm the controller, I'm the master, I'm the Lord. My will should be done. The goal in life is to do whatever you want to satisfy your material desires, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All the tenets of materialism. If you want to take a belief system as being a religion, that's the biggest religion, and it's the fastest growing religion. Mm-hmm. Because more and more people are becoming atheists.
Yeah.
And moving away from any semblance of following a supreme authority.
Yeah. So
there is no supreme authority. I'm the supreme authority.
Yeah, and if you're like, I mean, you're skeptical towards religions, you should also be skeptical towards where you are right now, and you should know that, you know, per definition, you are probably being influenced by this biggest belief system that is out there. Like, it's not just like you're standing on neutral ground and you can, you know, choose here and there, but you're like continuously being affected to the extent that even brainwashed by this belief system that you are your body, and satisfying your body, and, you know, building your prestige in your career and your extended self will make you happy. So
yes, and you don't even need a person telling you that. That comes with being in the body. Because the mind and the senses are our way to experience life in this world.
Right.
And everything we experience, you know, comes back to the idea, I'm my mind and I'm my body. And I'm my desires and I'm my sentiments and I'm my feelings and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So material nature in and of itself is the influencing factor.
Right. I see.
And the more that I'm convinced of that, the more I'll become their agent to convince other people. So parents convince their children that they're the body. You're a boy, you're a girl. They hold a mirror in front of the baby and they say, this is you. This is you. The baby's looking at his reflection in the mirror, and the parents are saying, yeah, this is you. You see, you're this age. You see, now you're 2. Every birthday, it's a reinforcement. Now you're 2. Now you're 3. Now you're 4. You know, oh, eat this food. Here's this candy. This will make you happy. You know, ice cream and all the things. And here's the toys that you want to play with to make you happy. And they just instill this whole thing. Your name is this. You're the son or the daughter of me, your mother, or, you know, me, your father. And here's your grandfather, and here's your grandmother, and here's your uncles, and here's your aunts. And this is our family, and this is who you are. Yeah. This is your identity.
Yeah.
But the reason they're promoting it is because they're under the same illusion too. They were taught the same way. They weren't taught you're not the body. They're taught you are the body.
I just had an Indian friend tell me, very funny, and partially influenced by Vedic teachings, I think, still, that society. He said up to the point when he was 15, he didn't know when he was born. Because he never celebrated birthdays. They never did when he was young. So he never knew at which day he was born.
Because in his family they didn't do that.
No, because like birthdays is like this giant like focus on this one person. You are amazing, and I mean, I see. Okay, appreciate the person, show your appreciation for the person, but I think we take it a bit far, and you know, it's like they're the center, you're the enjoyer, you're the master. We're all gonna serve you today. But birthdays should be when you help them to serve God, when you help them realize and remember, you know, the temporary nature of the body, that this body is not going to last, and that you need to focus on your eternal life, you know?
Yeah. That's a person, a parent who knows that.
Yeah. Which is...
It has that knowledge. And they can explain from the very beginning that you're spirit, soul, and you entered, you know, this body. They can explain the whole story at this time. And then 9 months later, you left the womb and, you know, you appeared, you know, in this particular body you're in now. And it's growing. And all the things that are true can be taught just as easily as all the things that aren't true.
Yes,
can be taught.
yes.
You can teach the truth as easy as you can teach the non-truth.
And it will make, I mean, it makes more sense. My grandmother just left her body, and so my brother, he's got 2 kids, and his wife told the kids, you know, your grandmother, she doesn't exist anymore. That was like her.
Really?
Yes. And I was like, ooh. I just heard it, but shit. And I was like, well, that's
it's just like poof.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's gone, just poof.
Exactly.
You know.
What do you mean? I mean, if you're your body, the body's still there. Like, so how, what, huh? What? I mean, the body's there. You say that we're our body, so where? I mean, she's still there then, if she's her body.
Yeah. So what doesn't exist?
Yes, I don't know.
No, but this is how the world is today. People don't have any real, true understanding of life at all. And out of that will obviously come nothing but problems. You know, nothing but problems come from untruth. I mean, tell me any untruth that produces good results. You know, it just doesn't happen. That's why people go to school and spend, you know, a large portion of their life and a lot of money to get an education, because it's understood if you don't have knowledge, if you're ignorant, then there'll be no good result. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm illiterate. Oh, horrible. You know, or these countries, the people in these countries have no education. So the future for them is obviously dismal. You know, we must go there and educate them. So it's obvious that people understand we need to know the truth, but they don't know what the truth is.
Yeah.
So in their attempt to educate people, they educate them incorrectly.
And they try to fabricate a truth and try to make it work. I don't know. I mean, so I wanted us to look at a couple of verses there are several verses from the Bible. I have a few where it makes it very clear that you are not your body, and or at least as clear as the Bible can be. The Bible is a little bit metaphorical, a little bit not so clear always. I mean, that's fair to say, I guess. Or
no, not always.
Not always. Yeah, okay.
There are some metaphors there, but, you know, Jesus spoke, you know, of course, there's a lot in the Bible other than the words of Jesus. I mean, the whole Old Testament is nothing to do with the words of Jesus, because that was before he appeared. But anyway, taking the words of Jesus, he spoke in parables oftentimes because his audience needed that to get the point across. all he was trying to do was get the point across. You know, he spoke a lot about the shepherd and the sheep, and, you know, how the shepherd is always caring for the sheep, and because the people were shepherds. I mean, that was the way they made their living, taking care of sheep and the flock. And, you know, he spoke a lot about that to make it so that people could relate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the devotee of God who delivers the truth will deliver it in a way necessary to get the point across to the audience.
Yeah, I see. So it's not
time, place, and circumstance.
Yeah. So it's not that he was trying to like make it complicated or not. No, I see what you mean. He was just
trying to make it easy.
Yeah, I see. Mm-hmm.
You know, it reminds me of a joke I heard one time. It was in a complete farming community, and this farmer went to church. And it turned out that he was the only person there that day. He was the only person who came. And the preacher just got up there and he preached, and he went on and on and on, and he preached a long sermon. And after it was over, the farmer said, "You know, Pastor, you know, that was really a long sermon today, you know, and, you know, I'm the only guy here, and you just preached and preached and preached." And the pastor said, "Well, you know, when you go to feed your cow and only one cow comes, you know, don't you still feed that cow?" He said, "Yeah, but I don't give them all the hay that's in the barn."
I see. So, yeah.
So anyway, that's the idea. This was a farmer, and the preacher was relating to the farmer in terms that he could, and of course the farmer's reply was what it was.
Yeah.
But Jesus was speaking to the people at that time.
Yeah.
They were farmers, they were fishermen, you know. He went to, you know, the fishermen and talked to them in a certain way that they could relate to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, "I'll make you fishers of men." Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so this is... Oh, yeah. Okay. So it looks like maybe I think all of the quotes that I have are from Corinthians. But we can maybe just like... I'll read them one by one, and you can see if you want to comment on it. And I don't have a specific order. I'll just start from the top, from the quotes that I have. And this is 2 Corinthians 4:16. "Therefore we do not lose heart, but though our outer body is decaying, yet our inner body is being renewed day by day."
Yeah. So inner body, he's referring to the spiritual body, you know, the spirit self. And the outer body is the material body. Obviously, it's decaying.
Yeah.
You know, that's the destiny of the material body.
Every day, second by second.
But the inner body is being renewed daily by spiritual food.
Yeah. That's wonderful. And then it says, this is 2 Corinthians 4:18 then, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
Yeah. Your camera's messing up again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do I do with that? I'll just restart it. I don't know. Here we go.
Okay, yeah, there you go. You're back.
Mm-hmm. Let me know if it does it again, because I can't see myself when I'm reading.
Okay. So, yeah, that's clear.
We look at
read it again.
Well, we will look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. So it's saying that there are things that can't be seen.
Well, yeah, the things that are seen are the material things.
Right.
I mean, you see them with your material eyes.
Right.
But that which is not seen are, the spiritual truths, which are eternal, or the spirit soul, which is eternal. Anything spiritual is eternal. So when it mentions eternal, that means spiritual.
Yeah. Because your material eyes can see material things only because they're material eyes, and the material is temporary, but the eternal that you cannot perceive or see is, it's not, can't catch it with your eyes.
Like if you look at a person, you see with your eyes the material body and so on.
Right.
See, but the one who is self-realized actually sees the person inside the body.
Yeah. Like, and made it like, I don't know, in Avatar, the first Avatar movie, I don't know what the name was. She told this Jake that he was in this Avatar clothing, and she said like, I see you, Jake. Like, she saw him like behind this body, she saw him.
Yeah, but that was the point I grabbed from that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
He came back in, that body.
Right.
She knew it was the same person because she'd only known him in the other body.
Yes, yes.
But when he came back in, now, what was the name of the people? The Narvik and anyway, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was the name of those people?
Which people?
Huh?
Which people?
In Avatar.
Navi?
Yeah. The Narvik, that's what.
Oh, Navi. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The Navi.
Navi.
So when he came back in the Navi body, she saw him. It's him. It's not like, who are you?
Yeah.
Because she was knowing the person, not the body. So yeah. Anyway, go ahead. But I caught that immediately when I saw that.
Yeah, me too. Like that was one, and so there are. That was a nice lesson. That was,
yeah.
So this is 1 Corinthians 15, 40, 42, 44, 47, 50. Well, I might just read it one by one. So there's a heavenly body and the earthly body, but the glory of the heavenly is one, and the glory of the earthly is another. There's a heavenly body.
Mm-hmm.
The glory of the heavenly is one. So they're separate, and the glory of the earthly is another. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In other words, the earthly body is glorious because of, whatever the material situation is. It's beautiful.
Right.
It's
yeah,
young,
exactly.
It's vibrant.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Uh-huh.
Whereas the heavenly body, the spiritual body, the spiritual person, that's on another whole level of being glorious. Let's see.
Not just like temporarily all these labels, like you said, young and beautiful and everything, and famous in a worldly sense.
Right.
And then, so also is the resurrection of the dead. The earthly, perishable body is sown, and the imperishable spiritual body is raised.
Read that again.
Yeah, let's try to. So also is the resurrection of the dead. The earthly, perishable body is sown, and the imperishable spiritual body is raised.
Sown, meaning planted in the earth.
Right.
And the heavenly body is the spirit soul that goes on.
But that's interesting. That describes the resurrection, what that actually means, which is the concept.
Yeah, the soul.
Yeah.
Soul leaves the body.
Right. it doesn't mean that you like come back in your material body and your material body comes to life again and you're living in that body eternally. Like
No. There's no indication of that.
No. The imperishable spiritual body is raised. So, well, we could talk about that sometime, by the way, resurrection. That's another topic for some other day. Where there is a material body, there is also a spiritual body. In other words, there is a spirit soul. If you see like the symptoms of life, like what was talked about at introduction classes, you see activity, you see exchange of love, basically. Someone you relate to someone in this material body, then you know that that's because there's life in that body, then, and the consciousness and activity comes from that spirit soul who is in the body.
Yeah.
Who's using the body right now, and that's why it appears to be moving and relating, and it's actually spirit soul relating and moving and
right.
doing all these things. Where there is a material body, there is also a spiritual body. The first body is from the earth, earthly. The second body from heaven.
Yeah.
From heaven means spiritual, then? That's what you would say.
The heaven is referred often to in the Bible, meaning the spiritual world.
Yeah.
See? So I won't get into it, but we learn in the material world there's heavenly planets, and then there's middle planets and lower planets, but they're still all a part of the material world.
Mm-hmm. So
here, throughout the Bible, when it speaks of heavenly, it's talking about the spiritual world and the eternal world.
Right.
So people have just, developed an understanding when we say something is heavenly, it's really good.
Yeah.
It just tastes heavenly. It tastes wonderful. It's seen as a sentence, it's synonymous with pleasure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Heavenly. But really, true understanding of heaven as used in the Bible is the spiritual world beyond all, material influence and material energy, etc.
And material enjoyment.
And material enjoyment.
Mm. And now I say this, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, that the perishable cannot inherit the imperishable.
Yeah, and that's very clear. Flesh and blood, the material body, cannot inherit the spiritual world. The perishable cannot inherit the imperishable. Spirit is eternal. The material body goes in the ground, like you said, it's sown.
Yeah.
It's planted in the earth.
And it will stay there.
And it'll stay there and decay and go back a few years later and it's gone, just some bones.
Or not now that we're eating so much, things. The corpses today never decay, That's a big problem they have because we're filled with plastic and... But yeah. And then 2 Corinthians 5-6-8. Therefore we're always of good courage and know that while we are at home in the body, we're absent from the Lord. We are of good courage, I say, and prefer to rather be absent from the body and at home with the Lord.
Which means you exist out of the body as well as in the body. See? And again, referring to the idea that in the material world, in our material bodies, we're away from the spiritual world.
Mm-hmm.
We're away from the Lord.
Mm.
And it would be preferable to be out of the body and at home with the Lord, back in the spiritual world, with the Lord in his abode.
Yeah.
But it continues, right?
I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago was caught up in the third heaven. whether in the body or out of the body, I do not know. God knows. Maybe that's a different. Yeah, that's later actually.
Yeah, that's a different verse.
That's a later.
But I thought part of that other verse was whether
yes.
In the body and away from the Lord or out of the body and with the Lord, our only desire is to please the Lord, serve the Lord. Yeah. So we can please the Lord and serve the Lord either in the material world or in the spiritual world, because service to the Lord is not dependent on being in the body or out of the body. It's the relationship of eternal spiritual love that constitutes the loving service to the Lord. Can be done here, can be done in the spiritual world.
Kind of like whatever equipment you have, like, I guess that's what she's saying, like, because we're here now, obviously we have a material body, so, whether we like that or not, we have it, we can use it while we have it.
Yeah, you can use it for its intended purpose of serving the Lord.
Hmm. I mean, it's hard to also be in this world and be of service without a material body, I guess. If you feel like you want to help others and serve in this way. Well,
yeah. I mean, if you're in this world, you're going to be in a material body.
Exactly.
That's how it comes.
Yeah.
This is our earth suit.
Like these astronauts going to the moon, putting on this like special gear to be able to survive on the moon, like the moon suit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, material bodies are for those in the material world. You don't need, nor do you have material bodies in the spiritual world. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God.
Perishable cannot inherit the imperishable. That's very, very clear. And this is, by the way, I mean, it makes it very clear in the Bhagavad Gita, and just like to add another layer, but I don't know if we want to do that in a separate podcast, or, well, it doesn't describe it clearly in the Bible, but the Vedas make it very clear that you have basically two bodies, right? You have the subtle body, which is your mind, your mental body, and then you have the gross physical body, which is like the body that you see, the atoms and molecules and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's
in the Bhagavad Gita, it even goes so far as to describe what elements make up the physical body and which elements make up the mental body.
Yeah.
Material elements.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more detail available in the Vedas, just because that's the way it's presented. I mean, it's very elaborate detail in all these categories of understanding.
But I guess I didn't want to make it too long, but just like to relate back to what we started saying and to put this in perspective. So we've discussed this briefly, the words from the Bible, but kind of like, why is this important then? Why is it, how can this truth be applied? If we talk about like applying the truths that we always mention, I think we say, don't just hear it, but also apply it. How do you apply this truth, and why is it of relevance?
Well, if you don't know who you are, you think you're the body. I mean, everyone needs a goal in life. I mean, we're goal-oriented people. And if I think I'm the body, then all my goals will be material goals. And what is it that we think we'll achieve when we get whatever goal we set? Some additional happiness or satisfaction, or feeling of accomplishment, or whatever it is. In other words, the goals are to better our life, right? So if I think I'm the material body and mind, and usually we don't differentiate, we just kind of lump the two together. I'm me. Now my mind, my body, it's all just me. Very rare does a person kind of break it apart and try to look at each one separately and so on. But anyway, when I'm thinking like that, I'm thinking, how am I going to make it so I enjoy more? How am I going to make it so my existence, my life, is better than it is now?
Yeah.
Will I be more happy? Will I be more famous, which relates back to I'll feel good about myself, false pride and whatever. So anyway, as long as I identify with the body, my goal-oriented nature will be directed toward material goals. But if I understand I'm not the body, and I'm really spirit soul, and what will make me happy is a spiritual achievement, spiritual goals, spiritual accomplishments. So now I have another direction. My goal-oriented nature is now directed towards spiritual success, not material success. And then we learn more and more what spiritual success really means, et cetera, et cetera. So it's necessary to know these truths. And then I can apply that very, very perfectly under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual teacher. So if I want to be successful spiritually, that's my goal, then the spiritual master can actually guide me in achieving this. He can help me in my pursuit of this goal.
Just like Jesus helped his disciples, by the way, as a spiritual master of his disciples.
Yeah. I mean, what did Jesus do with the people he met? Basically, to everybody he would listen, he told them the truth. Those few individuals that stepped out of their everyday life and became his ardent disciples and followers, he taught them what they should do with their life. See, he gave them spiritual food. There's one passage from the Bible, man cannot live by bread alone, but from every word that comes from the mouth of God. So he gave them spiritual bread, spiritual food, in the form of instructions, guidance, using parables, using, his personal example to show them, okay, I'm doing this, you should do it too. See, follow me. What did he say? Become like I am, follow me.
Yeah.
So he was known, technically, if we understand it, as an acharya, teacher by his personal life's example. He didn't tell them to do one thing and he did something different. Whatever he told them they should do, he was already doing. And they just could follow his perfect example, take his words of instruction, take his adjustments, okay? The spiritual master is like that. Your basic understanding is right, but your execution is not as it should be. You should do it like this and not like that.
Right.
You're making a mistake here, making a mistake there. Your goal is right, your intention is right, but let me help you execute it more perfectly, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what he did. He was giving them spiritual food every day. See? So it wasn't just about the bread, on the table. It was about the words coming from his mouth that they ingested. That was their opportunity to feast on that food. So food for the body, yes, you need that.
Yeah.
But you can't live by that alone. And unfortunately, that's what's happening in the world today. People are only living on material food or bread and no spiritual food. And that's why people are starving inside. They're full to the gills externally, and they're completely starving internally. And that manifests itself in all the dark ways that it does: depression, anxiety, frustration, emptiness, loneliness, dependency on substitutes, drugs and alcohol and all forms of intoxication, and the madness of the world today is because people are starving. When people get desperate, they'll go to any means to try to get the food.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you starve materially, you do whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's a terrible situation in Israel, Palestine right now. And I just read today that people are starving and they're breaking into warehouses and, doing whatever they have to do to get food. I mean, you're not going to stop when you're on the verge of starvation, So people are starving spiritually, but they don't know even what's wrong. They don't even know what's wrong. They're misinterpreting it and think, well, the solution is some material adjustment or, getting something else. And they get so desperate, and then drugs will do it.
Yeah.
Or alcohol will do it. And it destroys them further, and they wind up worse off than they were. And it just drives them to madness and suicide and all the things that are so common in society today. I mean, this is really the root. It's spiritual starvation. And until you address that, there's no answer. There's no solution. And suicide is not the answer either. So this wise man, the spiritual master, Jesus Christ, he taught us where the real solution is. And those who listened benefited greatly, And those who didn't, well, they have to suffer the result.
And and you're not gonna start to entertain a solution to the problem if you don't see the problem, and if you're not aware that you're in need of spiritual food, then you wouldn't. Why would you even, entertain the idea of maybe you need spiritual food if you're in the illusion that you are your material body?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't talk to her personally, but Mila here talked to a girl last night.
Mm-hmm.
And Astana is another city here in Kazakhstan, and she went to Astana and did whatever she did. I don't know any details. And when she came back, she was so depressed. And she thought, what am I going to do here? What am I going to do with this depression? Who am I? What is my goal in life? What am I really trying to accomplish? And she said, and finally, after thinking, I discovered my goal. And so Mila asked her, well, what is your goal? She said, it's a secret. I can't tell you.
Oh, but she came.
So we don't know what her goal.
But she came to meditation class. I mean,
she came to our program yesterday, and she's but unfortunately, I don't know what her goal is, and she's decided, okay, I'm going to do this. And I feel much better now, see. But unless it's the real goal, it's just an illusion. It's not going to help. So that's how it is. People oftentimes understand, I need to change something. But they don't know what to change, and many times they're not really ready to accept what they really need to do. See, there's still a hope that something besides this will solve the problem. Because this is not what people are looking for in most cases.
Jeez. Thank you.
Anyway.
I think we
better
have a chant, yeah.
End it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better end it.
Thank you very much.
As always, we'll end it with spiritual food. Transcendental sound, these mantras that we chant and encourage other people to chant, are spiritual food. They are not material bread. See, the divine food. And if we come in contact with this, see, get nourished daily, you know.
Our daily bread.
As Jesus nourished his followers with daily bread, you know, then we'll gradually become healthy, spiritually healthy. And even with material health, when you're really healthy, you feel really good. You know, you feel satisfied, you feel strong, you feel good, you know. But when you feel not physically healthy, you just don't feel good. So when you're spiritually healthy, the more healthy you become, the better you feel. And it's real, it's not just temporary.
Right. No.
Okay. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Or Gauranga, whatever. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Gauranga, Haribo.
Gauranga,
Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Gauranga,
Gauranga,
Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
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 Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Haribol. Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Haribol.
Haribo,
Haribol,
Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Nitai Gaur, Haribol.
Haribo,
Haribol,
Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Nitai Gaur, Haribol.
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 Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur. Sorry. Hari Bol. Nitai.
Yeah, so, people think, maybe they think, some people think, that all this with Jesus and everything was long ago and it doesn't apply now, and et cetera, and this is the modern world. But no, this is eternal truth. It can be applied eternally. And the mantras are eternal, transcendental sound. They are not sectarian. No matter what your belief system is, they will enhance your spiritual understanding, your spiritual development.
That's important to know. Thank you.
Yes, we like to put emphasis on that. No matter what your belief system is, the chanting of the mantras will enhance your spiritual development.
Not be in the way, not replace it, but enhance it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Valakia.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you. And if anyone has any questions or thoughts or remarks, please write to us and we can address things in our later episodes from this.
Yeah, let us hear from you.
Yeah.
And share this with other people. In the Bible, it says, don't keep your talents, buried in the ground, So.
What's a talent? Or like talent is coin?
Talents, at that time, whatever abilities you have, whatever truth, you may not remember the story. We'll talk about it another time. Anyway.
Okay.
But it's a nice, another, story from the Bible that is absolutely applicable today.
A little gem of wisdom,
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Slava, for your help as always. We'll see everybody next time.
Haribo. Thank you.
Namaste, Haribo.
Namaste.